What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly anime review of Fairy Tail. So, recap. I think recap is like the best way to kind of describe this episode, because mainly the first half of the episode was recap. A lot of recaps and flashbacks that we've already seen before. And then we have the conclusion of the fight with the old Master of Sabretooth, and then we get the fight with Mordgear versus Natsu in Gray. So, personally, the best part of this episode to me was definitely the Mordgear, Gray, and Natsu fight. That was like the best part of this episode. Now, before I get into the old Sabretooth guild leader that got taken down, let's just talk about the recap. So, this happens every so often. This does have to happen every so often. I'm going to assume since it's the end of the year, we're getting closer and closer till, 2015 is over. Maybe A1 is pretty much saying, like, okay, so since it's almost done, we're pretty much almost out of budget. We got to wait for, next month or whatever. We're just going to save our budget for these upcoming fights. That's why they probably put in a recap, like, as long as a recap they did. Because even though we got, like a short recap of in the opening song, a lot of flashbacks were pretty much just recap. And then you had it to where, like, the animation is pretty much the same. And it saved, I guess, budget. It saved a lot of budget for the show. And I feel like that's what A1 Pictures was actually really trying to do. They were in budget-saving mode. That's kind of how this episode was. But moving past the recap, so talking about the fight that we got to see with Sting, Rogue, and the old Sabretooth guild leader, which I don't remember his name because that's just how bad he is. The thing is he got curb stomped. Now, I didn't want to say nothing last week, because it would have been spoilers, and of course I don't want to spoil anime-onlys, but now that I could say it, this Sabretooth guild leader he's fucking disgustingly bad. Like, he's so damn bad, because this guy, his characterization is so damn disgusting. Like, he kind of tortured his daughter. Well, he did torture his daughter. And then his entire presence in the guild of how he picked on everybody. He was pretty much a schoolyard bully. He was pretty much that bully you would see in school. And then when he gets fucking bitch slapped, he just shuts the fuck up. And that's kind of how he is. I mean, he got knocked the fuck out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this guy, he got destroyed by Sting and Rogue without Dragon Force. He got destroyed in this episode without it. So, this guy is just so bad. He's so fucking bad. The way he just talks, the way he's like, oh, you live for yourself, you're strong for yourself, strong will. And I'm like, just shut the fuck up, just shut the fuck up, just shut the fuck up. Just seriously, this dude, I'm so glad he got his ass handed to him. So, story progression. We got story progression. This dude is already out of the way. And honestly speaking, I felt like the way this fight was implemented into the series, it felt like it was just a way to give Sting and Rogue some credibility. That they've done something in this arc. For instance, they beat an enemy. That's kind of what it looked like to me. So, now that I've said that, let's move on, because I don't want to focus on that, because that fight was just terrible, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of the recaps either. So let's get into the really good stuff of this episode. So, besides the Mordgear and Natsu and Gray stuff, we have also the fight with Ignil versus Ocnologia, and that shit's pretty good too. I mean, there was some still frames used in the process of it, but in terms of some of the scenes, there was one scene I remember in this episode that looked fucking amazing. Like, the animation in one scene only lasted maybe like 3 to 4 seconds, but there was this one scene in the episode that looked so damn cool when Ocnologia and Ignil were fighting and clashing, like the way they were just battling and fisting each other. It was so short, but it looked so damn good. Probably one of the best scenes of the episode in terms of animation, the way it looked. Now, I don't know exactly what time frame it was at, but it was when, like, Ocnologia and Ignil, like, first had their appearance in this episode when they were fighting. And then we move over to Mordgear, Natsu, and Gray. So, Mordgear, I'm loving his form. As I've already said, his form is pretty fucking badass. Just seeing the way he looks, the music and the background theme song that he has on him when he's fighting, pretty cool. And I also want to point out that in the majority of this episode, Gray and Natsu's face was just riding through the fucking stone or dirt or whatever. Like, their face was just getting crushed into the ground. For about 90% of this episode, you just saw their face in the damn dirt. Mordgear reveals the origin of Curse. For instance, it was a separation from magic, and eventually it was because of emotion emotions, pretty much like rage, hatred, and stuff, and it was used, and that's kind of how the cursed magic power came around, and how it's kind of superior to regular magic. And with that, he uses his curse for the first time, Memento Mori, to take out Natsu and Gray, and then they disappear. And then with the end of the episode, you have it to where Marred Gear transforms back into his original form. So the fight overall, definitely one of the best fights in this episode. By far, probably the best part of the episode. Animation didn't look actually that bad for the fight. I mean, there was only a couple of segments, but it looked really damn nice for a majority of some of the stuff we saw in this episode. So yeah, I mean, the episode of Fairy Tail 2014, average. Just flat average. Just a flat average episode. Mainly the reason why is because of half of it was recap, but everything else, pretty fucking good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.